This moment. With us is Republican Congressman Tom Reed from New York. Congressman, thank you so much for being with us. I want to ask you about the reaction from some CEOs. 3 chiefs of industry from Merck, from Intel, and from Under Armour have quit various presidential councils over the last 24 hours in reaction to what the president said or did not say over the weekend. You know, you worked as a lawyer in central New York for many big businesses over the years. What message do you think these companies are sending?
Well, you know, obviously that's an individual choice those CEOs made, but I've always been a fan of, if you're going to influence the agenda, you have to be at the table. You have to be talking, you have to be in the room and pitching your vision as to how you want to go forward. And so obviously they chose to leave that table. From my perspective, they've lost an opportunity to influence the agenda the way they want to push the country forward.
So you think it's a mistake?
I think it is a mistake. I understand the reasons they articulate a protest, but you know, you can protest or you can be part of the effort to change the culture. And that's what I try to do in Washington with the stuff we're working on.
And I do want to talk to you about the Problem Solvers Caucus coming up, because I'm a little bit obsessed with that. But a few more matters I want to get to first. The president's approval rating. Approval is a misnomer in this case, because it really is more of a disapproval rating. 34% approve, 61% disapprove. You've been in politics for a few years. Would you be pleased with those numbers, Congressman?
Well, obviously, polls are what they are, and obviously those numbers are numbers that you don't want to see. But at the end of the day, polls shift.
Just say it, they stink. Those are awful poll numbers, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's different across the country. Every area of the country has pockets of support, and at the end of the day, it's up to the people. The polls that matter are the polls when people go to the voting booth. And what we've seen happen over the years is polls can be wrong at times, and we'll see how this changes as we go forward.
Okay, what does the president need to do to turn those numbers around?
Well, you know, I think what the president offers is a great opportunity to disrupt Washington, D.C. I think he needs to always put the American people first, which I know he does in talking with him. His interests are moving the agenda for the American people to have a job, to get back to work, and to empower themselves to control their own destiny. He does that. I think those poll numbers will be a footnote of history.
What does the phrase or the term alt-right mean to you?
Well, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't participate in that movement, that group. I know it's a label that's given to extremists and folks that are ultra in their beliefs and ultra conservative. And from my perspective, alt-right is a label that is out there to try to describe what I believe is an extremist movement on both the right and the left. There's an alt-right movement to the left, as you've seen across the country. Our country has become very polarized. It's time to unite as Americans. That's the voice I'm trying to bring to Washington, D.C. and going forward.
When the president, you know, again, I hate talking about Twitter nonstop, but when the president retweets messages from members of the alt-right, or let me just ask a specific question. The president mused this morning that he's considering pardoning Sheriff Joe Arpaio of Arizona, who's been convicted of contempt of a court. But Sheriff Arpaio, among other things, is someone who helped fuel the birther movement. Are these moves, are these actions you approve of?
Well, you know, obviously with the sheriff, he's a law and order guy. I respect that. I support our law enforcement, and I know the sheriff's been very outspoken in his beliefs of law and order. And so I could see that pardon happening, and that's the discretion of the president. But at the end of the day, what we need to do is stop the identity politics. We need to identify ourselves as Americans. We're in this all together. And the more that we can unite the voice of Americans, and we can have leadership that demonstrates that, rather than try to divide us with identity politics, we're going to be stronger as a nation and solve the problems we face, which are huge.
All right, he may be law and order Sheriff Arpaio, but he was convicted of contempt of court. That is the crime that he would be pardoned of, which is separate than being a law and order person. But Congressman, I do want to talk to you about the Problem Solvers Caucus, because I think maybe you are the hope of America with this caucus right now. What are the biggest challenges you're facing in gaining momentum with this group? This is a group of Republican and Democratic members in the House trying to come together to do things.
John, I so appreciate you bringing up Problem Solvers Caucus. I do believe it's the last great hope of Washington, D.C. to get bipartisan folks, Democrats, Republicans, who look at each other and know we're good people. We're trying to serve our constituents by solving their problems for them. But we have an ideology, we have a philosophy that we bring to the table, but we still respect each other. And this group is gaining momentum because I think that's what the American people want. I know I'm frustrated with the leadership out of Washington, D.C. I want to see us unite as Americans and solve problems. And this is where the division of identity politics, I think, is our biggest obstacle of being successful, because people are making millions of dollars on this division. And it's all about political posturing and political power grabbing. Enough of that. It's time to put the American people first.
You got a Noah's Ark rule with this group, right? You won't let a Republican join unless a Democratic member joins as well. What are your numbers right now in the House?
We're at 43. We're a little off the Noah's Ark. We're at 43, so we're looking for additional members. And I'll tell you, over the last 2 weeks, we've had much interest with both sides of people who want to join us, because they see what we're doing. We're changing the culture. We're breaking the gridlock in Washington, D.C., and that's what it's going to take.
Congressman Tom Reed of New York, great to have you with us. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck with the Noah's Ark thing.
Thanks. Appreciate it so much, John.
All right, Kim Jong-un blinks, and North Korea backs down from its plans to fire